Oh, Tindall, my Tindall, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. Welcome to the Football Ramble. It's Friday, 31st of July, people. I'm Pete Donalds. I'm Jim Campbell.
I'm not putting my name to this.
Welcome to the Football Ramble. Vish is with me. Jim is with me. Vish has been on about 10 buses this morning. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, good.
How were the Boris buses?
The Boris buses were good. The Santander buses were better. I was kind of worried that I'd need multiple cups of coffee, but I think that intro's done it for me.
Yeah,
I'm up.
Yeah, I'm up. Yeah. We will talk about Newcastle United a little bit later on, but we're gonna launch into a pretty big story, a pretty seismic story off the back of the World Cup, obviously. UEFA have confirmed that all 55 of its member associations have voted to boycott the World Cup if FIFA proceeds with its plans to sell stakes in its competitions to private investors. Huge story, Jim Campbell.
Yeah, and it's not just the World Cup, is it? It's the Women's World Cup and the Club World Cup as well. So all
World
World
Cups,
all FIFA,
all the World Cups,
all FIFA events, presumably including the luncheons and the junkets and all that stuff as well. The statement from UEFA is rousing stuff. They really, really put the boot into FIFA in terms of, and very eloquently, in terms of quite how abhorrent and venal and self-serving Gianni Infantino's plans to essentially sell a stake of control in the World Cup. However much he says that's not what they're doing.
So they've proposed creating a commercial subsidiary called FIFA Forward Enterprise to run its events, including the World Cup, with external investors able to buy stakes in it. And Joshua Kushner, the brother of Donald Trump's son-in-law. There's another Kushner.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I do love it when Harvard
Second
Business
Kushner has hit the Trump family.
Exactly. Yeah, I do love it when Harvard Business School kind of alumni come up against the entire might of the world and go, why don't they want me to be happy? Why don't they want me to be happy?
Imagine their reunions.
I know.
At Harvard.
A real shithead.
Not a functioning amygdala between them.
Yeah. Were you a big this year? I was a massive this year.
Did you make a lot of money about being Yes,
it's the best way, isn't it? It's more fun.
But UEFA's statement said in full, fuck off.
Basically,
UEFA and its 55 member association stand as one. We unanimously and unequivocally reject FIFA's proposal to transfer ownership interests in the World Cup and other FIFA competitions to private investors. The World Cup cannot be treated as an investment product. It is one of football's greatest sporting legacies. It has been built over generations by players, national teams and supporters across every continent. No part of it should ever be surrendered to private investors. The World Cup is not for sale. Good guy UEFA, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Mama UEFA's popped up and really done the business here. I mean, obviously UEFA are by no means perfect, but I mean, I really recommend reading the full statement for anyone who hasn't, because they really are pulling absolutely no punches, and it is welcome, because this level of rejection, I think, is important.
Yeah,
because
and nobody else can do it. You would say,
I would say so.
As a collective,
absolutely, and the Asian Football Confederation and CONCACAF have also said that they don't support it. They've not come out and threatened a boycott yet, but there are steps in that direction. It feels like they're kind of hedging bets a little bit by not threatening a boycott. But
we have to mess with CONMEBOL.
Yeah, we've not heard from CONMEBOL yet, but they never reply to us anyway. So that could be anything.
It's a time zone, isn't it? It's quite hard to get hold of.
Exactly. I mean, is there probably a timeline where this ends up as the World Cup just being a game between Argentina and Saudi Arabia? We don't know.
No.
But maybe. So, I mean, this would be a really sort of profound thing if it actually goes as far as boycotts having to happen. I think the qualifiers for the Women's World Cup happen in September, so that'll be the first
test of
opportunity for this to happen. Hopefully it won't get that far and FIFA will back down from this absolute nonsense. But they've come out today and said, guys, whoa, you don't really understand the plans. We're just exploring it. No one's trying to sell the World Cup. And the hypocrisy of that, when they kind of made all these plans without consulting the various confederations and just announced it publicly, to then be, faux annoyed that people are talking about it publicly is incredible. Yeah. And also, what are they claiming this organisation will do that they don't do already? I mean, it is ridiculous. We could have a situation where if FIFA get what they want, or they push ahead with it, and they manage to kind of bludgeon everyone into submission, which I hope doesn't happen, that the World Cup is every year because Hyundai think that's a good idea, and they have a controlling stake in how these decisions are made.
Jim, Hyundai, have some respect.
Sorry.
Yeah, you ruined it at the end there.
Yeah.
I was really on board with
Really
everything you said
that.
until you mispronounced.
Respect
How do you say it?
Korean
Hyundai.
Hyundai.
I thought I said that, so sorry, everyone.
Disgrace. The comments are going to have you. You were asking about what FIFA don't already do that they want to do with this. It's just more money. JP Morgan wrote essentially the plan for this off the back of FIFA's insistence that they wanted to carry this forward.
Sorry to cut in, but I heard it was the JP Morgan who is now just a brain in a jar.
Right,
So they
that
consulted
makes
him.
sense.
John Paul Morgan.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Blub, blub, blub.
It's just surrounded by fluid
Blub, blub, blub.
spilling over. One of the things they put in it was a comparison between other bodies, as it were, but they weren't international bodies. They weren't global, I suppose, sporting umbrellas. They were like the NFL, the NBA,
the main ones that are owned by a private investment,
Sure. 100%.
Formula One and Tour de France. They're the main two,
And they all think it's a great idea.
And they all think it's a great
But
idea.
there was
Same people.
There was you really have to step back and look at the numbers though, because it's the idea that 3 billion isn't enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, what happened to that pile of money you were sitting on for ages?
Yeah, I
The
mean,
surplus.
Yeah, well,
surplus,
their
the
surplus is
surplus,
in the billions anyway, and
For
they made a
rainy day.
shit ton of money this year.
Yeah.
But actually, I think what's happened there is that they've seen that we were joking all summer, weren't we? Or sort of, semi-joking that if they had an idea, that was enough for them to try it. It was like nothing was too extreme in terms of money making, and it seems that because that has actually worked and FIFA have made so much money, that they're like, oh wow, this could essentially become a license to print money if we maintain this attitude that every penny is to be wrung from it as possible.
Well, it's what happens when you spend the last however many years rubbing up alongside Donald Trump. This is straight out of the Donald Trump playbook in terms of, there was the greasing of the wheels all the way through it. There was the confected peace prize that Infantino gave to Trump. There was the fact that FIFA used Trump Towers in New York as their offices throughout the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also, what is this UN thing that Trump is going to recommend Infantino for?
Yeah,
Donald Trump said
the ambassador to Jupiter or something?
Yeah.
Donald Trump has said that he wants Gianni Infantino to be the next Secretary General of the United Nations.
Right,
Is
okay,
that just
fucking
a-
brilliant.
He knows how to bring
Well
people
done.
together.
But is that just a sort of coincidentally coherent sounding dementia burp? He
Yeah.
might
I
have
mean,
said,
possibly,
I think he should
possibly.
be ambassador
Maybe-
to kangaroos.
maybe
He was
Donald-
actually reading into the
And then fall
Odyssey
asleep.
and he wanted him to replace Hades. but
Yeah.
he just
Maybe
completely
the
mixed it
UN
up.
needs to be privatised. They need to make a bit of money out of this, for crying out loud.
It should be privatised. That's so true.
Why has nobody thought about that in Davos, for crying out loud?
The other thing about this, it just reeks. Obviously, sorry,
It just reeks.
It
Just end there.
it's all utter shite. But loads of little things don't tally, even with the statement that FIFA put out today, because they talk about like this has been an ongoing. Well, we'd hope this would be an ongoing discussion without essentially media interference. But they already promised Thrive 20% stake in the, in this FIFA World Cup content machine they were going to create. And by doing that, they're naturally going to be the majority investor in some way. They're certainly going to have the pull of a majority investor. And the hilarious bullshit side to it was this offer comes off the table 19th of September.
Yeah.
For 20 million, you can buy in. It's like, it's a fucking timeshare, basically.
Yeah.
pretty
It's
much,
a sort of weird cross between a bribe and a threat, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
really, really strange. And
Also, the idea that like they're going to go to these governing bodies and say, right, you've got however many days to do this. Chris Weatherspoon, who's a football finance writer for The Athletic, made a great point of you can pretend to be doing this for good intentions, for like, giving people extra money that they
Growing
can
the
invest,
game.
growing the game. But you can't give them only 53 days to come up with a plan of how to use that money if this is what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's utter shite.
And
but-
I nearly used the B word there, but that's not what I'm saying. Members have been given until 19th of December to agree to the proposal. If they did, they'd get $20 million. And then once the proposal goes through, you get another $20 million. So,
and also, I mean, there are.
if that was $100 million, would everyone be a bit more?
Sometimes you could, the Czech Republic president came out out and
Yeah, he was-
but he was the first to go, which
Yeah.
is always dangerous.
Yeah.
Just see where the wind's blowing
Yeah.
and then put your head up. But I feel like I've made the same mistake as he has previously in many different, areas of my life where you just see the number first.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh,
So yes,
hello.
hello,
Yeah.
yes, please. Yeah, I'll take that. Lovely old job.
I think the ultimate thing, though, is that football can't be run, certainly
Again,
football
forced
as we
end
know
there.
it, with profit as the main motivator for it, right? And I do understand that developing nations need an injection of cash here and there. Of course they do. It's probably
up to FIFA to administer that,
it
isn't
could
it?
be seen as very Eurocentric, the position we're taking, and a lot of the confederations around the world are taking. Absolutely, I take that. But at the same time, FIFA have just been bragging about record profits. In terms of that stuff, it's going well. They are making those investments. Like there is a point where it's, it becomes, not worth the thing you're selling, which is the soul of it, which is the control of it, which is the future of it. And that simply cannot be in the hands of just private business. It really rips the soul out of the sport. And I think regardless of how this goes, Gianni Infantino's position should be untenable now. I think that if this plan is derailed by everybody boycotting it, as I hope it is, and we all hope it is, and everyone has to stay the course on that as well, and I hope that they're brave enough to, if it comes to it. In any other walk of life, in any other industry, this would be such an embarrassing thing and such an out of touch display that
He's
his
high on the
position would be untenable, and he'd have to go. And he's never going to do that of his own accord. So I don't know if there's a mechanism here to remove him. We've been saying for a long time, FIFA are not fit
he'll be
for.
fine.
I'm sure this is
They've
what
made a
I'm
load of money.
opining. Yeah,
He'll be
this.
fine.
But I think FIFA are increasingly showing that they are not fit for purpose in terms of actually being custodians of the sport and what's good for it. And he needs to go. He has to go.
To borrow a phrase, I would love it if we just came up with some other bloody.
Absolutely.
It's not that easy though, is it? You
No,
touched on a
it's
really
really
good point there about nations who really do need that money, and it's important that when it look, I don't want to jinx anything, but it looks like this is going to be kiboshed because ultimately they need consent to do it, and they're not going to get consent from all nations or even the majority of nations or whatever. If they need like a certain percentage, it doesn't look like they're going to get it. But nations like ours, like the English FA, should walk away from this, particularly when it's successful, and think, how do we stop this from happening again? We probably need to give up some of our slice of the pie to those other nations who can get corralled by this kind of thing. You see it in all other sports. It happens in cricket all the time as well.
Right.
And it's something that you've got to be wary of. It's not, it's basically, international, but like galactic Super League shit, yeah?
Yeah.
And so the thing that, the mistake that Premier League clubs and, the big clubs around Europe are probably still making now is thinking it's completely gone away and not realizing that, they need to restructure where, how the game is set up. And the FAs around the world should also be thinking like that, coming off the back of this. Because I suppose this is more seismic, really, because we've just had a World Cup that went better than a lot of us expected, I'd say. And as Jimmy, I think it was the point you made earlier, that FIFA have come out more brazen than ever. Infantino has come out more brazen than ever. He's got an ally in Donald Trump, who's the most powerful person in the world, who's also the most dangerous person in the world. And, there are bigger threats to the world off the back of whatever Trump is, but in terms of what you can control in football, that power is still with the FAs.
But Gianni Infantino's kind of debased himself, allying himself to Donald Trump, a president who's not going to be here.
Has he? Like we've had prime ministers cozy up to Trump.
Yeah.
Like it's just
That's how
the
he
way.
sees himself as well, isn't it?
Yeah, like
He sees himself as a kind of world leader.
Yeah. The problem with Infantino is the thing that he's controlling, the thing that the thing that most people around the world love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always going to give him a bit of extra in the bank.
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
it's
in
almost
so
like
many different ways.
It's like he's holding it hostage
Yeah,
at the moment
yeah,
for ransom,
yeah.
which is just absolutely appalling. And it will be really interesting to me to see if it actually ever gets to the point where UEFA or whoever need to make good on these threats. And it feels horrendous that it will be the women's game that will be a testing ground for it. But I just hope that everybody, holds the line and is brave enough to do it, because there's kind of no going back if this thing is allowed to win. I suppose the alternative would be that the individual confederations would collaborate to effectively host a version of the World Cup. And as you're alluding to there, Vish, I think UEFA would be in a situation where you'd probably have to concede some spaces, and you'd probably have to go, well, we can't really realistically ask for this to be a collaborative process and still have the kind of majority of teams if you're expecting all of the other confederations to come together and collaborate. But that's worth it. That's so worth it.
Yeah,
I'd take that in a heartbeat.
The only thing I'm a little bit wary of there is we might win the next Euros, and if we invite all the other teams around, it's so much harder.
Like Eurovision, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm not saying
definitely not Australia. That's a fucking disgrace. While we're here, why Australia in Eurovision?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Why aren't Japan? Imagine their entry to
You had an answer
Eurovision.
for all this
Getting
FIFA
the
stuff.
Copa America every now and again, don't they?
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying that we invite other nations from outside of Europe into the Euros.
Not for the next one. We're pretty good now. Not for the next one, yeah.
We're not giving up that home advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they can come over. They have to leave afterwards. Come over. Have a look around. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Spend your money.
All right, then. Before we go to a break, we want to pay tribute to a legend of Italian football, Franco Baresi, who's died at the age of 66. When people talk about Rolls-Royce players, he's the Royciest of all the Rolls-Royce players, with all the trimmings and the updates.
But he was like a stone Rolls-Royce, wasn't he? He was like a Rolls-Royce that was also a wall.
Yeah.
He's one of those first players that, when you're first falling in love with football, USA 94 is a really formative memory for me. And I couldn't believe how good Baresi was at defending and how he made defending fun. Like the feeling that like no one's getting past this guy. He was just so solid and so compact and just really dictated so much of the game from the back. And he'd had like quite serious surgery. It was something like 120 days before that World Cup. And he was kind of playing on one leg for most of it and was still one of the best players there.
He's got a fascinating origin story, which I suppose speaks to his time, but I think he only watched football on TV, for example, like later in his early adolescence maybe, because he was just playing it, didn't have access to a TV, and was basically just developing his natural game, which happened to be this absolute stylist at the back.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you think of Baresi and the other defender that comes to mind in terms of a similar ilk is Franz Beckenbauer. And I didn't realise until the sad news of his passing that he was called Kaiser Franz as a nickname in reference to Franz Beckenbauer.
Nice, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, like he was also one of those players like very early in my football watching life, and he basically passed me by a bit. But then when people talk about him, you add him to the lineage of Italian defenders where you're like, how do you do such a difficult thing that requires so many of our defenders to be on their back? How do you do it in such a classy way? How are you clean at the end of a game? How do you do that?
He rarely found himself on the floor. He's good for a 2-footer every now and again, as most defenders were at that time. But he, captained his club side for 15 seasons, over 700 appearances for Milan in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He obviously won the 82 World Cup, 6 Serie A titles, 3 European Cups. He was relegated with Milan as well.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, wasn't it? And I think twice, and he stayed with them, which was probably a bit more common at the time. But he is one of the sort of ultimate one club men. And they were
AC Milan, Italy. I mean, it's not
nice,
bad, is it? That's
really,
proper,
really nice that. And they retired his number, and he played the number 6.
Right.
Like, to be good enough that they are retiring one of the starting 11 numbers is something, right?
Well,
that's a dangerous game if you're an Italian club and you're retiring numbers for good defenders.
That might be why they all wear like 76 and 88 now, but just retired all of them.
Yeah. He's the reason why everyone puts their hands up for offside. He's one of the first
That's
people
amazing.
to sort of, figure out.
Really?
I got a call here, to be honest, if I put my hand up. But you wouldn't see a player who could command his part of the field better than him. There was a goal he scored weirdly against Padova. He didn't score like a huge amount of goals, obviously, from his position. But his interplay with George Weah, dig it out if you can. It's 95, 96, 97, something like that. And it's him to George Weah to him. Chest, I think, knee, and then sorting his feet out to just fucking slide rule it past the goalkeeper. Oh my God, absolutely lovely. Fulham alumni as well. He was at Fulham for 2 months. Fell out with the manager, just left.
So he wasn't a one club man. He went to Fulham.
No, he didn't play. He didn't play at Fulham. He was director of football or something.
Oh right, I was going to say. I thought I missed that.
Let's make that very
I
clear,
thought he just went up there for a rock.
Yeah.
picked a fight with Tagana and then left. Yeah, I mean, an incredible.
Completely missed that. Well,
Yeah,
you just throwing that in as a grenade.
I just thought Marcus might want to bring something in when he's back.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, coming up after this, Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall, they're gone.
First of all, Jack, welcome to Tranmere Rovers. How does it feel to join the club?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here, to be fair. Been here for a few weeks training, just looking to get started and get the season up and running.
Is he taking the piss? Hello there, everybody.
Like a Scouse Bagpuss.
Thomas is emerging from a tunnel.
Oh no,
dear.
he's got that
awful.
little smile on his face. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful stuff. Speaking of sad, dour situations, would anyone like a glass of Knox at this difficult time?
Of Knox.
Of
Nuts.
Knox, the energy drink that
of
sponsors
course.
Newcastle United this season.
I see.
You're not on the Newcastle
They don't
United
spon-
forums.
They don't sponsor us.
We're big energy. I've stopped drinking energy drinks. Actually,
What?
I can't get.
Sorry, hang on.
What?
Howe and Tindall can wait. You've stopped drinking. You've stopped drinking energy drinks.
I have stopped drinking energy drinks.
For how long?
Well, until I feel better.
No, I mean, when was the last time you had one?
Oh, 3 days. No, about 2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks clean, guys.
So you're gonna
Gonna get one of those little chips.
you've identified that it doesn't quite work with your body. You're you're off it for 2 weeks, and you're gonna go back on it when you feel better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was there a
But
crash?
I'll only drink the small cans because you never take what you took.
Sure,
last
yeah,
time.
it can be
Last-
dangerous,
can be
can't it?
dangerous,
You can die from that if you're very unlucky. So was there a crash in the immediate kind
No,
of
no,
detox?
there wasn't like a problem that I've had. I just this makes it sound more serious than it actually is. I've just stopped. I just don't think
Should we
a
have
man.
heart palpitations?
I think a 45-year-old man should not be drinking Monster
Yeah.
unless they bring out a new flavour. Then I'll drink that. It's been reported, but hilariously not confirmed by the football club, that Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall.
Is that right? Still not confirmed?
Still not confirmed. Still not on the Newcastle United website. Yeah, Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall. It has been reported they have both left Newcastle United, and presumably Andy Howe as well. Andy Howe, the nephew, the scout, the
Yeah.
transfer man.
If Andy Howe digs in, that'll be
I'm not
that'd be
leaving.
a story.
I've got a fucking contract.
Yeah, be
I've
like-
got a fucking contract.
be like Juan Bernabé at the training ground.
Yeah, Eddie Howe has left Newcastle United after 5 years in charge. He reportedly told Newcastle's owners he wanted to leave more than a fortnight ago. It was very interesting. I was walking the dog and my accountant texted me. He usually texts me going, Pete, can you get your fucking...
I can't put
finances in?"
all this monster free of expensive.
You have to stop drinking it.
Caffeine is not tax deductible. I'm in the performer, Pete Donaldson. And I was very much enjoying like the kind of, it gets announced. I'm on all of like the live YouTube reaction sort of bollocks that you see of like both Newcastle and your Talk Sports and stuff. And just like the whole, you got to remember, Eddie Howe has a lot of friends in the traditional media and certainly in sort of radio, television, sort of paper journalist space. So there was one reaction where it was like, it's disgraceful, because we thought initially the club made the decision, but obviously it was Howe's decision in the end. But I was very much enjoying the start where it's like everyone's going, why are we looking at some unknown German manager? Why aren't we signing someone like, I don't know, Jose Mourinho? And Jose Mourinho was named, and I was like, Jesus. I'm not sure even what
he's
level.
in quite a big post.
He's in quite a big post. But like, why they don't know that? And then it's like an hour later, everyone wants to sound intelligent. So they go, actually, this guy is the new coming of Jurgen Klopp. It's really interesting stuff. And also, a lot of like the Newcastle local journalists who'd been down in Bristol to watch Bristol City hammer Newcastle in the end 4-1. Some terrible goalkeeping performances in that match. I very much enjoyed them kind of like slightly embarrassing themselves because their first reaction was like, we just saw him yesterday. And like, we knew the squad were going out to Malaga to play some football. for the weekend, and we asked Eddie if he was going to be joining them on the same flight, and he said he didn't know. He hadn't been told what he's going to be doing. And then Eddie asked everyone in the room if they wanted to photograph with him. It's like... And you didn't have a fucking clue that he was about to announce his departure. I mean, come on, guys. Hey, guys, do you want to get a big picture? Do we do this normally? Nah, let's have a big picture.
And then
come on.
And then Eddie asked if anyone wanted to accompany him to the farm. Yeah. And we were like, that's weird. We've never taken us to a farm before.
Producer Bruno said, did everyone sign his shirt like the last day of school?
Yes.
It's good stuff. But, I mean...
And then a few people from that press conference have been on the radio since and been like... Well, I knew. I did actually know.
I knew.
Yeah, he just wasn't quite himself.
Yeah. Now I've heard the news. I can look back and I remember I did know actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time, but I do know now.
A lot of other people didn't know, but I think it was when he was dribbling out the side of his mouth. I thought something's wrong here. Something is wrong.
But Vish, he's been there for 5 years. A huge loss to Newcastle, you would say. One of definitely the most successful manager of the last 50 years.
Yeah, in terms of the status he was able to reacquire for Newcastle, I feel like I'm answering the question that you should be answering. But
I'm hosting the show, Vish.
I know, I appreciate
I must
that.
be professional.
I appreciate that. But
sorry, what?
Sorry, I just had an energy drink hallucination. I'm finding it very difficult to get off it.
There was always going to be this pinch point, though, wasn't there, with PIF, with the Saudi ownership of Newcastle, where ultimately I thought it would be ambition, really, in terms of as you move up the levels, suddenly the manager that you started with isn't so attractive. There is someone bigger and better, whether it's a bright, a shiny new thing or a more established international name. And actually, it seems to be the pinch point has been PSR regulations, UEFA regulations. They didn't need to sell players to generate funds, and also having essentially made savvy transfer dealings way back when that are now at a point where you're going to be picked off, that you've been picked off by Tottenham, that you've been picked off by Barcelona, who don't have any money but have money. The fact that you're about to be picked off probably more reasonably by Arsenal in the situation of Bruno Guimaraes. And again, Liverpool taking Isak last season, perhaps those two, are unavoidable. But with the investments that aren't being made and things like that, I can totally understand why he has been able. Well, he is left because ultimately, if he starts the season and things don't go well, it's his fault, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think his kind of game plan last season when he was available was give it Bruno, and now he probably looks at that side and sort of goes, yeah.
I think
I can't give it Bruno anymore.
Yeah, I suppose as well with the way the transfer window's gone and seemingly is continuing to go. It looks like Eddie Howe is now being tasked with a kind of Project Youth style setup, which is obviously not what he would have wanted. He would have wanted to keep Tonali, Gordon, and Guimaraes in an ideal world. They might all end up going. I think they would have been prepared for a couple of those players going, maybe not all of them. And the longer it goes on, the longer it may be the case that Bruno Guimaraes stays where he is. We don't know yet. But I think from Eddie Howe's point of view, to have got this group of players together, to have won a trophy, to have had 2 Champions League qualifications, and to have had a demonstrably, tangibly successful era at the club, to then have your plan change so dramatically for it to be quite a big reset, the thought of kind of climbing that mountain again is probably exhausting, right? And it's probably thinking this isn't actually what I've built, this isn't what I'm here for. Maybe now is the time to move on. And actually, maybe Matthias Geisler will be a good person for this sort of rebuild. I know he's been at Red Bull Salzburg and Al Ahly, which is one of the other kind of PIF-owned clubs, isn't it? So it's a sort of bit of a Liam Rosenior style punt. But who knows how well that'll go.
It'll be just as successful as him.
Well,
I'd take the amount of wins Liam Rosenior sort of brought to Chelsea, I would suggest.
The other thing about Howe is he's always been a very savvy operator behind the scenes. And, while we can talk about regulations around finance domestically and in Europe that would constrict Newcastle, he would be able to see early on he would know what asset stripping looks like, and he will know in various different situations when they're like, you know what, we're going to invest in youth now. He's like, you're doing that because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
We've had the same scouts we've had all the way through, and you're just saying now that we should invest in youth because it is simply cheaper than trying to find a replacement for Isak, Gordon, Tonali, and Gibberish.
And the Saudis have proved themselves time and time again to be in the direction of travel of extricating themselves out from the club, in my opinion.
They're winding down across the board,
Where's the training ground? Where's the stadium?
Yeah.
All of those things, none of those things would contribute to the financial restrictions the Premier League put on you. So why haven't they sort of put their hand in their pocket and spent the money there?
The story seems to be NEOM, doesn't it? They're spending a lot of money on building a new city, which is obviously a massive money pit. I think as well, part of the...
Is that the outline of the city? It's just a money pit.
Yeah.
You can live in it. This is a money pit.
These are not great foundations.
Scrooge McDuck vault, isn't it? Yeah.
Actually, that does make sense as the basement to the whole place, to be fair.
Yeah.
Actually, that probably does make a bit more sense. But I think what Newcastle needed to do, which they haven't really been able to do yet, because this is a long-term thing, is raise the revenues on the commercial side, because that's
but you
how
do that when you stadiums. You do that with you look at, like, I think Spurs bring in twice the amount of money that Newcastle bring in every day, even though they're below them in the table, you would say.
Yeah, sure, but also Spurs are a sort of well-established big global brand, right?
London,
they're sort of
London,
London, and they're synonymous with the Premier League. So even when they have seasons outside of Europe and stuff, it doesn't hit them in the same way it hits clubs like Newcastle.
A match day for Newcastle is like 50. I think it's match day is like 50 million or something like that. So compared to everybody else, it's not a huge amount. It was. Eddie Howe can sort of leave. I mean, at the end of the day, he took the Saudi coin. So let's make that very clear. It's not a romantic story in that sense. And like you said on the WhatsApp Fish, maybe he's finally finished his research into his.
He said he'd look into it.
He said he'd look into it.
The World Cup's been over for a bit, and he thought, "What do I do now?
What do I do now?"
That's just the buy-in, though, isn't it? Like, I know he didn't have to take that job, but he was due for a step up, and this came along at the right time, didn't it?
Yeah. And he has been given a lot of money to improve the squad, and he has improved the squad. He's improved a club, and he's given Newcastle fans the best day of their lives in the Carabao Cup, when he has to stand as the most successful manager of the last 50 years. The best time for him to go, though, the way that he carried himself, was probably after the Sunderland match last season. The second best time was probably the week after, and then the 50th best time was yesterday.
You think so? Because I
think he was pretty spent by that time.
Yeah.
He emotionally and physically.
He just looked absolutely checked out, and I do not know why he went through the rigmarole of going, the close season kind of summit meeting with the Saudi owners. I don't know why he went through that and he didn't walk.
Well, apparently he's been trying to leave for 2 weeks, so who knows how that went. But I think he leaves with agency and he leaves with a good legacy. So that's something, isn't it? Winning that trophy, as we've all mentioned, was a huge thing. So I suppose, like. And I ask this in good faith. It might sound like I'm not asking this in good faith, because this is obviously a shocking thing. The Project Youth thing was something that was perhaps not expected last season, but those type of rebuilds are kind of exciting at times. Do you look ahead to the new season with a little bit of hope?
Well, I think the reason why Eddie Howe wanted to leave was because he'd been taken off transfer space, basically, because of the poor performances of the players he brought in, like Alanga and
which is not unusual, is it, in the modern Premier League?
It's not unusual, but I don't think anybody. I mean, Alanga was a real surprise how poor he was.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I think.
Yeah. So, but I think
they
were being gazumped left, right, and centre by everybody from Villa to Spurs and stuff like that. And it wasn't just the financial aspects, in my opinion. I think it was also the way that Newcastle had performed in key matches last season in the Premier League and the Champions League, and that was an Eddie Howe problem. So he kind of his choices haven't performed, so therefore he is to blame for a little bit. The performances in the Premier League were poor from start to finish. They were poor. They had a lot more joy in the Champions League, but he leaves the club as the best manager I've seen pound for pound in my lifetime. So you can only sort of hang out on that. And you're right, it is exciting. The new manager, he looks like a sort of fella you'd see at a cycling club. He looks very, very.
How is that exciting?
I don't know. He just looks.
They're the most boring people in the world.
Yeah, but you kind of want them in charge of the serious decisions, right?
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
But you're right. No, I think playing in a different kind of way. I think Eddie Howe had one kind of way he wanted to play, and when that wasn't working, Joe Willock 60 was always his solution. He just felt like his substitutions were always sort of baked into what he was going to do at the morning of a football match. And so, like, I would like to see a more expansive, more interesting, more reactive manager in the dugout at this moment in time. But Eddie Howe, hell of a servant to Newcastle United Football Club, and I've very much enjoyed the transformative nature of his management as a Newcastle supporter. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that.
Do you think we'll see him again this season?
Good question.
Says he wants some time off.
Yeah, he will kind of. He'll be linked with every job, won't he? He's of that type of profile
because he's got a lot of friends in the media as well.
Right.
Yeah, and he's a good talker, so he'll do a lot of punditry. Yeah. He'll do a lot of Five Live. He'll be present. If it goes the way that his previous jobs have gone, would it be a surprise if De Zerbi, self-combusts at Spurs and Howe comes in at some part this season?
Or the season after?
Or probably more the season after with the investment.
I expect Spurs will have a very good season under De Zerbi this time out. After
I thought
that,
you were going to touch wood, hopefully, for North London.
touch metal. But the season after that, who knows? De Zerbi's this combustible character, as we know, isn't he? But this is the exact type of feast at which he will be a spectre, isn't it?
100%. Even
possibly even England as well.
Yeah, Emery at Villa.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think that would probably upset
with the players,
a lot of Villa fans because they love Emery so much. But
with the players that they've sold, we've often seen like Emery might leave in the way that Howe's actually left Newcastle. That might happen to them because they're in a broadly similar situation. So yeah.
It's going to be an interesting move. I imagine he definitely interviews well. Yeah, and I think he sort of fits. He's quite boardroomy himself, in my opinion. He's he's the very picture of a modern boardroom sort of character. So I imagine he could walk into many jobs. I think that he probably, for his level, wouldn't necessarily take.
The next one's big for him, though, isn't it? Because it will determine whether or not he becomes a kind of fixture on the managerial merry-go-round, or he can build a legacy somewhere, because he's been very good at doing that at each club he's been at, really.
Yeah. Did you see that apparently Antonio Conte and Kieran McKenna were also on the shortlist for a replacement?
I mean, what are they going for there?
That doesn't suggest a particularly well thought out plan, does it?
We've got a young cerebral type. We've also got a maniac.
Well, both in the dugout.
Yeah,
like Howe and
like a fucking tag
Tindall. Yeah,
Howe and Tindall. Yeah.
What's Tindall going to do? Is he going to follow Howe?
He's going to do what Eddie Howe does.
Love Island. Get him on.
Love Island.
Love Island over 30s.
Finally.
Like finally. Or maybe just a sort of wandering sort of samurai trying to look for a master somewhere.
A Ronin.
Ronin, yeah.
But for shagging.
We do not know whether that man shags. On Monday's show...
You were screaming his name at the start of the show.
What?
You were screaming his name at the start of the show.
Good point. Very good point. On Monday's show, we speculated on the prospect of Sillet Bank's Barry Scott being dead. Amazing. He's in fact alive.
And not Barry Scott.
He's just an actor. He's just an actor who played it, yeah. Fergus McIntosh wrote to us on Spotify with information that he runs a pub quiz in Walthamstow every Tuesday night. We could have popped round to the Raglan near...
not too far from me, actually, yeah.
Not too far from our 40-foot brewery adventures as well.
That's true. We could have invited Barry Scott down if only we'd known. So
we thought he was dead. So.
We did, yeah. But in reality, he's sort of dead, isn't he? Because he doesn't exist.
So
he's in the same endless void.
That's why he didn't respond when we did the seance.
Yes.
Good point, actually.
So he's actually an actor called Neil Burgess. And I like that Sillet Bang just made up a bloke. Was he the owner? Was he the inventor? Yeah. We don't know. They just made up a bloke, presented him, and we accepted him into our hearts.
I think their parent company at the time was going through a bit of
divorce.
A bit of problems with a humidifier disinfectant. Probably worth a Google. And they also own Gaviscon as well, which I'm obviously a big fan of. They killed a lot of people, Jim.
I see. I see.
Stephen Bridge on email says, I'm not sure if you've been told or if you're aware of this, but Andy Burnham's new Number 10 North, or Heron House, as it was previously called, has none other than Wings Restaurant on the ground floor. At the back of the
Love
building.
it.
So Wings Restaurant, if you're not familiar, is basically Louis van Gaal's favourite Manchester United haunt. He ate there repeatedly.
Every Manchester footballer.
Every Manchester
goes there,
footballer.
yeah.
Do they have I think they have the plates, don't they? They sign plates.
Yeah, I've
and
been
they
there.
hang them on the wall, basically. Yeah. So what's the food like?
It was pretty good Chinese food. If you like Chinese food, I'm not massive on it, but it was
Right.
yeah. I had a good time.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm just kind of
Whoa.
indifferent to Chinese food.
Hey,
You're
Yeah.
indifferent to Chinese
I am,
food. It
yeah.
demands your attention. Jim.
Yeah, but you forget it 10 minutes after, didn't you? Yeah.
I-
Look, this is
I-
not. We're
I
here for
think
wings.
This is a schism that could
you're not,
bring
evidently.
down the entire football ramble.
Yeah.
May I remind you, Jim, we've not even started the season yet.
Is this you
Things-
talking, or is this the
changes-
actor that plays you?
Changes can be made in the dugout. That's all I'm saying.
So this is really interesting because in DC, for example, there are loads of restaurant and bars that have opened up or that have been in existence for a long time around the White House and other government buildings
Yeah.
that are essentially there for discretion. Essentially,
Yes.
so they're normal
they're
bars
private
and whatever.
member club kind
But not even private member bars. They might be a bar associated with the hotel. I actually stayed in one, and the bar manager is a Ramble fan.
Right, nice.
Weirdly. But my mate who works in politics in DC was saying that people usually come here and just chat business because essentially couches are really far away from each other, so you can have
Nice.
you can be in a normal setting and still have a discreet conversation. Basically,
I love seeing that in TV and movies where people have really important private conversations in very public places. And I'm
That
glad
has
to
to
know
be-
that is a real thing.
yeah. I love the idea that's now going to be Wings.
Oh, what? You're Burnham's going to be down there with
So-
his inner circle, just having a bit of...
Centre of power.
And on a different table, it's like
Kung Power Chicken. Sorry.
Love it.
It's very Marcus, that.
Like on another table, it's like Donnarumma having some chicken satay, and it's like
There he is.
but essentially,
Someone having a pint of wine, ironically.
but then obviously because was that where this thing happened?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
yeah, took down Allardyce.
because they're really big on their discretion there at Wings because there are so many famous people and footballers.
Yeah.
Obviously not enough for Allardyce's sake, but
When you're
Yeah.
eating that much MSG, your kind of your voice does get a little bit sort of reedy and quiet. So maybe that's kind of part of it as well. When you're
true?
absolutely loaded up on crispy shredded beef and lemon chicken, you're like,
Chinese food makes you quieter. Is that true?
Jim,
just let me have it. Jim.
if anyone's
You-
going to
Jim,
know
you don't-
about
yeah,
being loaded up on chili beef and lemon chicken,
yeah. Jim,
He's
you
sitting
name,
to your
Jim,
left.
Sorry.
you name check Kung Pao chicken. That's a thing the British eat.
I'm not.
Get out.
I'm not experienced in Chinese
You're
food.
really
I defer
not.
to your
Maybe you just not found the
whatever this is.
Chinese meal you've that's for you.
might
After
be
your
right.
mispronunciation of Hyundai Day,
Right? Yeah.
have you got a problem with them over there? Is it East Asians, all of them, or
I
The
haven't.
Washington DCs,
I haven't at all.
DCs,
I've got a problem with
the
anyone apart from
Chineses.
Gianni Infantino.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
are you going to say someone else there? Weren't you?
I've got my list,
What?
and you're very close to being on it.
The Taiwanese have had too good for too long. Unbelievable, Jim. We're one to watch. Jim's anti-Asian sentiment. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Aircash Creator Network. Jamatane Vish. Jamatane
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. Jamatane.
You're in English. You speak English.
Jim, racist Jim and I will be back on Monday with Luke.